What's going on, guys? And today we're going to be looking at Bubsy, the Woolies Strike Back. Now, I know what you guys may be thinking. Many of you probably didn't even know this game was coming out, because after the travesty that was Bubsy 3D about 22 years ago at the time of this recording, we all probably thought that this little-known mascot was dead in the water. But no, Bubsy's been resurrected, also by Accolade Entertainment, who, to my understanding, has also been resurrected as a publishing brand, because I believe someone bought their rights to their company and they decided for whatever reason to relaunch Bubsy. Now let's do a little bit of a history lesson. Now Bubsy was originally a 2D platformer, side-scrolling platformer for I believe the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. Correct me if it wasn't on the Genesis, I know it was on the Super Nintendo. But in 1996, Bubsy decided to attempt to make a jump into 3D for the PlayStation 1, and the game is critically panned across the board. It's essentially one of the worst games of all time, right up there with E.T. Now, the game was weird because it didn't play like a platformer. It, first off, looked terrible. And second of all, it was a platformer that used tank controls, and that just doesn't work because analog controls weren't really a thing at the time, but why they would use tank controls is unbeknownst to me. Now, this game, when it was released, I believe retailed for $29.99, and I knew I wasn't picking it up for that price. So last week, Amazon had a sale. $13 for this Perfect Edition. Now, what's in the Perfect Edition, you might ask? Well, you get the game and the official soundtrack in a really odd Blu-ray case that I've never seen before. Have like dual spots for this. It also comes with Bubsy's business card, which mentions his Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for that matter, and a postcard from Bubsy that basically says he's out filming his new picture, Indiana Bobcat, and thank you so much for buying the game. Remember, they make great gifts for the holidays, so please buy a copy for each member of the family. Now, I don't know if that's supposed to be funny, because, you know, people probably thought this game was going to be terrible, and the reviews it got, if you go to official review sites, they've really given it a bad score. But I'm going to kind of break that mold because I honestly enjoyed this game. Now, the game is challenging. It's a 2D platformer again, and it's a really short game. You can run through the levels and run through the whole game, for that matter, in a matter of about 45 minutes. So for $13, it was fine. $29.99, not so much. So if any of you bought this on launch, I could see why you guys might have been a little angry. Now, the graphics also are nothing really to, hit a home run on. They're not spectacular, but they look fine. The levels themselves aren't hard at all. The hardest thing I found about this game are the boss fights. Now, some of you, if you've played this, might have thought the boss fights were really, really simple. Maybe I just suck at 2D platforming boss fights. It's possible. But I think the creators of this game, Accolade Entertainment, also knew their boss fights were going to be a little tricky for the sheer fact that even when you die against a boss, if you have lives and you respawn in the fight, the damage you've done to that boss is still there, which is cool, so you can kind of like chop them down little by little as you try to learn the patterns of the boss. The final boss fight was a little tricky. Once I lost my full set of lives, when I went back to it, I figured it out more because I learned the pattern of the boss, but also the boss's patterns seemed to not really have a pattern. They're just kind of all over the place of what the boss is going to do at any given moment. The three bosses in this game, that's right, there's only three bosses. They're pretty much Woolies. For whatever Woolies are, they're like aliens from outer space, and you basically just fight them in different spacecrafts that each do different things. And overall, like I said, they're not overly difficult. Like, they're challenging because you never really know what's going to happen next. It's not a set pattern of attacks. But, they're fun, I guess. As I mentioned, this game, it's not a bad 2D platformer. If you want to just pick this up for a quick game to run through, I would kind of suggest it if you can get it for the $13 range like I did. Especially if you get this Perfect Edition, which I want to say might be worth money one day. Don't quote me on that. For the sheer fact that it doesn't seem like a lot of people are buying this game, so this might go down as one of the rare ones, guys. I'm surprised they resurrected Accolade Entertainment, as I mentioned. and we all thought for years Bubsy was dead in the water. And I did a video back around E3 time when this game was announced about how skeptical I was of it coming out, and I didn't think I was going to pick it up. Go check out that video. I said I might, and for like a $13 price tag, I kind of had to go for it. I wish the game was longer. I wish the levels were a little more complex. Literally, the levels you can pretty much glide through, especially because Bubsy's, one of his moves is a gliding move. But aside from that, the game itself is very, very simplistic. It's fun, but don't go into this game thinking that it's going to be this 2D platformer that's going to knock your socks away, guys. I don't think Accolade meant it to be that, and if they did, that's a downfall on them. But as a whole, if you can get this game for the $10, $15 range, and you just really want something to play, I would definitely say pick this one up. It's not a terrible game, but it's not perfect. The hardest thing, as I mentioned, is the boss fights. If you guys have played this game, leave your thoughts of Bubsy, the Woolies Strike Back below. What did you think of it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Did you love it? If you're one of those strange people out there, leave all that below, guys. Give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and go check out all my other videos for game reviews and reviews on pretty much everything in life. Until next time, guys, check this one out, but don't expect anything spectacular, and have a good day.